Welcome to the channel. In this video I'll be showing my latest little build in the Inwin Chopin Max case. I've had this case for a couple of years now, but I've moved my HTPC build through a couple of different cases since. And now that I have a new motherboard for my build, I thought it would be nice to reuse the case for a simple, compact build. The case is very simple. It has a typical front I/O with USB-A, USB-C and audio ports. It is designed for builds that use a CPU's integrated graphics, as there is no space for GPUs and no PCI slots in the rear. Behind the motherboard there are mounting points for 2 2.5 inch SSDs, so you can still have a decent amount of storage in a case this small. The 200 watt power supply that's included has straightforward connections, a 24-pin motherboard cable, an 8-pin CPU power cable, and a SATA cable for the SATA SSDs if needed. At the time of making this video, Inwin still sells this power supply on their store, which is handy in case you need to get a replacement. Now for the motherboard. This was a new purchase as my old motherboard died, so I have been looking for something to replace it, while staying with my DDR4 RAM and LGA 1700 CPU. So this is what I chose, the ASRock B760M ITX D4 Wi-Fi. It is a relatively simple motherboard, but it has Wi-Fi, which was one of the main reasons for choosing it. I could have bought a cheaper board, but most of them didn't have Wi-Fi, so it would have meant spending extra for an adapter for that anyway. While the motherboard doesn't have an internal USB-C header for the case's USB-C port, there is a 20 gigabit per second USB-C port in the rear of the motherboard, so it's not too bad. I paid about €145 for the board, including tax. The VRM design isn't very robust, but for the CPU that I'm pairing it with, it's perfectly fine. For the CPU, I'm using this Intel Core i3-13100T. I found this online used for €40, which is not bad at all. There was no damage on it, just a little bit of thermal paste left on the edges from the original owner, which cleaned up easily. The 13100T has 4 cores and 8 threads, with a base power draw of 35 watts. It has integrated graphics, which aren't anything special, but it's all I need for watching streaming services or the digital copies of my Blu-ray collection. The PC won't be for gaming, I'll just be storing movies, music and DRM-free audiobooks on it. The CPU cooler that I went with is the only other new purchase for this build. It's the Thermalright APX90X53 full copper variant. It is 53mm tall with a slim 92x50mm fan. It has 4 6mm heat pipes, and Thermalright claim that it can handle up to 155 watts, but I won't ever be drawing that much for this build. For the other main components that I'll be reusing, there's this Crucial P2 Gen 3x4 boot drive which is 500GB, and my 16GB kit of Lexar Thor DDR4 3200MHz RAM. And here's the motherboard dressed and ready to be mounted in the case. As you can see here, it's quite a tight fit inside the case. All the cables needed to be tucked in to allow the side panel to go back on. Another nice feature of the case is the cutout in the motherboard tray that allows access to the rear M.2 slot that some more premium IGX motherboards provide. So, if you had a build in the case and you wanted to do some simple storage upgrades with a motherboard that has the rear M.2 slot, then it's very simple. You just take the back panel off and slot the drive in. And now with the build all together, you can see the boot time here. This was after the initial boot, and I'd gotten the overdue Windows updates done and made sure everything was running okay. Inwin claims a 54mm CPU clearance with the case, which is why I went with the Thermalright cooler, which is 53mm tall. You can see here that with the side panel on, the fan can still spin freely. It's not catching on the mesh of the side panel. Here's a quick look at the BIOS if you're interested, with everything showing up and working properly. With the system just idling now, you can see in HWInfo64 that the CPU cooler is more than enough for the small power draw of the 13100T. The CPU package temp is sitting in the mid-20s most of the time. That's it for this video. It was a very simple build, no RGB and a straightforward cooling setup. For what I intend to use the PC for, which is just media storage and consumption, the specs are more than enough. Thanks very much for watching.